Hello my beautiful people. Alright, so today we're going to be covering sum and difference of cubes. Alright, so let's look at this slide. Okay, so what's the deal with sum and difference of cubes? Alright, so first thing I always do, no matter what it is, okay, I always look for what first? Always look for a common factor. Is there any common factors here? Okay, there's no common A's. There's nothing, there's not even a number here. Okay, so there's no common factor. Alright, now our next thing I need to look for, are there cubes? Alright, yeah, there's no squares. Okay, so there's not a difference of squares, difference of two squares. Okay, I see that there's a cube. Alright, so now I know it's going to be a sum and difference of cubes, and this is how you do it. Okay, so same way that we did difference of two squares. Okay, so we're going to have a small bracket and a humongous bracket. Okay, have a small bracket and a humongous bracket. Okay, the reason why we have this, let me show you something quickly. Okay, so when we did products, okay, and we were multiplying our brackets, okay, we had something that looked like this. Okay, and when I multiplied out and I simplified and I added up all my like terms, okay, you can do this quickly if you want to. You can multiply all these things out, and you can add up all the like terms, and you will get to x squared, or x cubed, sorry, x cubed minus 8. Right, that will be your final answer. Alright, so now we are trying to go from this answer, x cubed minus 8, back to this over here. Okay, that's why we have a small bracket and a humongous bracket. Okay, so from x cubed, okay, let's look at this small bracket. Okay, from x cubed, how did I get to x? Okay, I cube rooted it. Okay, cube root, we're working with cubes. Okay, so we're going to cube root both of these terms. Okay, cube root. Okay, what's the cube root of a cubed? It's a. And what's the cube root of negative 8? Negative 2. Okay, so there we are. X minus 2, a minus 2. Alright? Now, okay, now I need to get to whatever's in front here. Now I need to get whatever's inside this big bracket. Okay? So, this a is going to multiply with the first one. Okay? And a times what is going to give me a cubed? A squared. Okay? Eventually, when you multiply out, this term is going to multiply with the last term. Okay? What times negative 2 is going to give me negative 8? Positive 4. Alright? Little secret here, little tip for all your sum and difference of cubes. Okay, this last term will always be positive. Always. Forever and always will be positive. Okay? That's a little tip for you. Okay? Now, I had to get to a middle term. Okay, so let's just bring this back quickly. And we had x squared plus 2x. Okay, and plus 4. Okay, so, and it was cubed, and that was 8. Okay, so we had an x squared. Okay, there's my a squared. And then here at the back we had a 4 and a 4. Okay, so I need to get to positive 2x here. Okay, look at the first bracket and look at this. Alright, well, what did I do here to get to here? I want you to think for a moment. Okay, they look sort of similar. There's an x there, there's a 2 there, there's a 2, there's an x squared, but what did I do here to get to here? Okay, if I multiply these two terms, if I take negative 2 and I multiply it with x, what are you going to get? Negative 2x. Alright, but now this is positive. How do I get from a negative to a positive? Okay, I'm just going to switch the sign. Okay, so if it's a negative, switch it to a positive. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing here. Okay, what is a times negative 2? Negative 2a. Okay, switch that sign. You're going to get positive 2a. And that is difference in sum of cubes, people. Easy peasy, easy marks. Alright, so let's try and practice here. Okay, first thing I always do, look for a common factor. Is there a common factor here? No, there's no common factor. Okay, so I've got a sum, okay, and I've got two cubes. Awesome, it's a sum and difference of cubes. Okay, so it doesn't matter if it's a plus or minus. Okay, so I know I'm going to have a small bracket, and I know I'm going to have a big bracket. Okay, what's the cube root of a cubed? A. Okay, what's the cube root of b cubed? Positive b cubed. Sorry, positive b, my bad. Positive b. Okay, now I know that a times what is going to give me a cubed? A squared. Okay, b times what is going to give me b cubed? Positive, remember this last term is always positive, okay? Positive b squared. Okay, now how did I get to that middle term again? What did I do to the first bracket? You multiply these and you switch the sign. Okay, so what is a times b? It's ab. Switch the sign. Negative ab. Okay, so negative ab goes in the middle. Okay, I hope that's easy. Okay, so you always do the first term and the first term to get the first term, and the last term and the last term to get the last term. Okay, then you multiply these and you switch the sign to get the middle term. Okay, easy peasy. Okay, so let's look at this one. Okay, any common factors there? No, there's no common factors there, but I've got a difference and I've got two cubes. Is it a difference of two cubes? Yes, it is. Awesome stuff. Okay, so open up a small bracket, open up a big boy. All right, what's the cube root of the first term? A. What's the cube root of the second term? Negative b. Awesome. Right, so what times a is going to give me a cubed? A squared. Very good. What times negative b is going to give me negative b cubed? Positive b squared. Amazing. Okay, remember it's always positive here. Alright, how do I get that middle term again? Take these two terms, multiply them together. So what is a times negative b? Negative ab. Okay, so now switch the sign. Positive ab. Positive ab. Okay, hope that makes sense. Alright, let's look at these ones. Okay, what I want you to do, pause the video, see if you can do it by yourself quickly. Okay, awesome. Okay, I assume you've done it. Alright, so is there any common factors here? No, there's no common factors, but I've got a difference. I've got two cubes here. Okay, 125 is a perfect cube, 64 is a perfect cube, x cubed is a perfect cube, and y cubed is a perfect cube. Awesome, so I've got a difference of two cubes here. Okay, small bracket and a big boy. Alright, so what's the cube root of 125? That's 5. What's the cube root of x cubed? It's x. What's the cube root of negative 64? Negative 4. Very good. And what's the cube root of y cubed? It's just y. Very good. Awesome stuff. Alright, so now what times 5? X is going to give me 125x cubed. Okay, what times 5 is going to give me 125? 25. Very good. And what times x is going to give me x cubed? X squared. Awesome stuff. Now let's do the last two terms. Okay, what times negative 4 is going to give me negative 64? Good. Positive 16. Okay, what times y is going to give me y cubed? Y squared. Very good. Alright. So let's look now. How do I get that middle term there? Okay, I take these terms, I multiply them. Okay, so what is 5x multiplied by negative 4y? It's negative 20xy. Very good. Okay, but I can't just take it as it is. I need to switch the sign. Okay, so we've got plus 20xy. Awesome stuff. Okay, hope that makes sense. Alright, let's look at this one. Okay, do I have a common factor? No, there's no common factor there. Alright, do I have a perfect cube here? Yes, 27 and x cubed is a perfect cube. Is this a perfect cube? Yes, 64 is a perfect cube and y cubed is a perfect cube. Okay, so I'm going to open up a small bracket and a big boy. Alright. Okay, what's the cube root of 27x cubed? That's 3x. Very good. What's the cube root of 64y cubed? Positive 4y. Very good. Okay, now 3x times what is going to give me 27x cubed? That's 9x squared. Very good. Alright, and what is 4y times something to give me 64y cubed? Good, it's 16, positive 16 y squared. Alright, now how do I get that middle term again? Multiply these. Okay, what is 3x times 4y? 12xy. Okay, I can't leave it just like that. I need to switch the sign. Okay, so I've got negative 12xy there. Okay, hoping that's getting better now for you guys. Okay, so now I want you guys to try a nice difficult one for me. I want you guys to try that one. Okay, so pause the video. Okay, see if you guys can do that. Okay, it's the same as if you watch my difference of two squares video. Okay, it's the same thing. I've got brackets now. Okay, but I'm not going to fear. I'm just going to do exactly what Mr. Fanas taught me. Right? Don't let brackets make you scared. Okay, so pause the video. Do it for me. Alright, so let's jump into this. Okay, so I'm going to use different colors here. Okay, so I'm just going to separate this as a bracket cubed plus a different bracket cubed. Okay, so let's look at that. Okay, do I have a sum or a difference? Yes, I've got a sum and a difference. Okay, do I have any common factors? No, there's no common factors there. Okay, now do I have a perfect cubed here? Yes, and do I have a perfect cube here? Yes. Okay, so if I cube root x cubed, what did we get? We got x. Okay, so now if I cube root a bracket cubed, what are you going to get? You're just going to get a bracket. Okay, does that make sense for everybody? Okay, I hope that makes sense. Alright, so let's open up a big bracket. Remember, a square bracket. Okay, just because I'm dealing with other brackets now. Okay, and a nice big boy. Okay, a nice big boy. Okay, so what is the cube root of this red bracket cubed? It's just a red bracket. Okay, then I've got a plus. Okay, and what is the cube root of this blue bracket cubed? Okay, it's just a blue bracket left over. Alright, now what we did in the previous ones, we're going to do exactly the same. Okay, so what multiplied with a bracket is going to give me a bracket cubed. Okay, so if I said x multiplied by what is going to give me x cubed, what would you say? X squared. Okay, so now what times a bracket is going to give me a bracket cubed? A bracket squared. Right, so it's just a bracket squared. Okay, same thing with the blue bracket. A blue bracket times what is going to give me a blue bracket cubed? Okay, remember this term is always positive, right? And it's going to be a bracket cubed. Right, how did I get the middle term in those previous ones? Okay, I always multiplied these two terms and then I switched the sign. Okay, so what is a red bracket multiplied with a blue bracket? What is that going to give you? That's just going to give you a blue bracket multiplied with a red bracket. Okay, and it's positive. Okay, but I need to do what? I need to switch the sign. Okay, so that is going to be my middle term. Okay, so I've got a negative, and I've got a red bracket, and I've got a blue bracket. Okay, now I've got to fill in whatever was inside those brackets, okay, because these brackets had something in them. Okay, so let's go fill those out quickly. Okay, so what was in the red bracket originally? Okay, so it's got 3x plus y. Okay, and this red bracket's also 3x plus y, and this one also is going to be 3x plus y. Alright, and this blue bracket That's 3x minus y, 3x minus y, 3x minus y. Okay, now I don't like brackets inside of brackets. Okay, so I need to multiply those brackets out. Okay, so I'm going to start. Let's open up. Okay, so I've got a bracket here, bracket there. And what is a positive times 3x? It's 3x, positive times y, positive y, positive times 3x, positive 3x, positive times negative y, it's negative y. Alright, so over here, okay, so let's deal with this bracket separately, okay? So I've got 3x plus y. Okay, so if it's a bracket squared, what do I always do? I always write that bracket out twice. Okay, so 3x plus y. Okay, so let's multiply that out. 3x times 3x is 9x squared. Okay, 3x times y, positive 3xy, y times 3x, positive 3xy, and y times y, positive y squared. Right, add those like terms. Okay, and we're going to get 9x squared plus 6xy plus y squared. Alright, y squared. Now keep the minus. Okay, keep the minus there. Okay, so now I have to first do these brackets. I'm not going to do the minus into the bracket yet. I'm just going to do these brackets first. Okay, so keep the bracket. Okay, and what is 3x times 3x? 9x squared, so my bad. Yes, but 9x squared. Okay, and what is 3x times negative y? It's 3xy, or negative 3xy. Okay, so negative 3xy. And what is y times 3xy? Positive 3xy. Okay, so what is negative 3xy plus 3xy? 0. They're going to cancel each other out. Okay, and then finally, what is y times negative y? Negative y squared. Okay, can you see that that is now my difference of two squares that we were talking about in the previous video? Okay, so notice that it's going to save a lot of time in your exams. Okay, so look at these brackets. The only thing different is the signs. Okay, that's just a difference of two squares. So you can just go straight to here. You don't have to minus and cancel out things. Okay, but anyway, you don't need to really know that. Okay, then we've got a plus. Alright, and this bracket squared. Okay, let's deal with that on the side here. Okay, and we've got 3x minus y times 3x minus y. Okay, 3x times 3x is 9x squared. 3x times negative y, negative 3xy. Negative y times 3x is negative 3xy. And negative y times negative y, positive y squared. Alright, add those like terms for me. And you've got 9x squared minus 6xy, and I've got plus y squared over here. Alright, and we close the bracket. Okay, and now let's add all those like terms together. Okay, so actually let's just deal with this quickly. Okay, let's just get it out. Okay, so we can add these like terms along. 3x plus 3x is 6x. Y minus y. Okay, they're going to cancel out. It's going to be 0. Okay, and let's just write this out again. So 9x squared plus 6xy plus y squared. Okay, negative needs to be multiplied in here. So we've got negative 9x squared and positive y squared plus 9x squared minus 6xy plus y squared. Okay. Alright, now let's add those like terms. So 6x stays the same. Yeah, I can actually just leave it outside of the bracket, it's fine. Alright, and I've got 9x squared minus 9x squared plus 9x squared. Okay, that's going to give me 9x squared. Alright, let's look at the xy's. Okay, so I've got 6xy minus 6xy. Awesome, that's going to cancel. It's going to give me 0. Alright, and then I've got y squared plus y squared plus y squared. Okay, plus 3y squared. Okay. Now, I'm not actually finished yet. Okay, so always in your answer, okay, especially when you have big sums like this, always check in your answer if there's anything more that we can factorize. Okay, so let's look at that. Look inside the bracket there. Is there anything that I can take out? Any common factor, any difference of two squares or cubes or anything like that? Yes, okay, so there's a common factor there. Common factor of 3. Okay, so I'm going to keep my 6x here. Okay, okay, that little dot just means multiply. Okay, and I'm going to take out a common factor of 3. Alright, and what's left? I've got 3x squared plus y squared, right? Now this 6x is being multiplied with the 3. So what is 6 times 3? 6 times 3 is 18, good. 18x, and left with 3x squared plus y squared. Okay. Right, you might have to watch this video over again, especially here in the multiplying out maybe, or even just this last step. Okay, so this last step, always just check for a common factor, take it out, okay, and whatever you take out is going to be multiplied with whatever's in front of it, okay, if there is anything in front. Alright, I hope this makes sense, and I hope it helps you prepare for your exams or your tests. Okay.